What's up, gang? How you guys doing? It is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. Coming at you today with my daily podcast, man. Listen, I'll tell you what. It was a lazy day for me. I had a lot of little projects I had to do, and I had some canceled appointments, right? So I called myself writing down all of the things that I needed to do today. And I probably only did two of them. So out of a long list of things to do, I did two of them. And I don't know, sometimes that happens throughout your day, right? Tons of things happen, shit goes on, and you just don't get everything done that you want to do. And I just want to tell you guys that some days that's okay. Some days that's okay. Other days you have to hold your hand to the flame. You got to get your butt moving, you know what I mean? And so I'm saying this today because I felt like I came off a very, very bad day yesterday. And bad in the sense of I felt that I was just not productive as I should have been. And so I try to get back into it today, early morning, getting back into it, making phone calls, doing things to make it happen. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm totally satisfied with how I finished out my day. But that is life, guys, sometimes. Sometimes you are not totally satisfied with how your day turns out. And that is okay. That's okay because you should have some hunger in you. You should have some hunger in you to want to do more and to want to be better and want to become better. And so in saying that, I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about on today's podcast, and then it hit me. It hit me, man. It hit me like a ton of bricks, and I thought about it. So my question for today, guys, is this. Have you ever found yourself wanting to give up? Right? Just wanting to give up. It is so many things that have gone on in these last couple of years. And for me, I don't know about you guys, it has been so exhausting, man. The pandemic has crushed us, right? The financial markets is going crazy. It's haywire. So much information to take in so fast. You don't truly know where to get your true information from and your true knowledge from. So now you're fighting with that struggle, right? The current job market that we know and love went kaput. It disappeared, right? So now we're forced to, a lot of times, to recreate ourselves and try to figure out where we're going to get our next dime, some of us, right? How are we going to provide for our families? During the time when I was working one of my jobs, and the job closed. And so I attempted, like everyone else, to put in for my unemployment since I never collected in 30 years of working, 30 plus years of working. I never collected unemployment before. So I said, let me go out there and try to get my check. I'm going to tell you something. It's been 2 years I haven't got a dime, right? They sent me through so many loops and so many obstacles when it came to getting my money. I'm almost at the point of where I'm giving up. But I'm not going to give up because I'm not a quitter, right? So let's add to that, right? So many illnesses, health illnesses, and everything that's going on. And during all of this time, there you go. You are trying to do more and you feel like you're getting momentum, but it's getting hard. So now you found yourself thinking about wanting to quit. And I'm here to tell you, right? It is okay. Now listen to me. It is okay to find yourself thinking about quitting. But I want to ask you, I just want to ask you today just to hold out till tomorrow, right? Don't quit. Don't give up. Just give it one more day. Give it one more try. Give it one more effort. Read one more book. Listen to one more podcast. Watch one more video. Make one more call. Okay? Give it one more chance. Don't give up. This is not the end, guys. This is not the end where you just give up on everything, right? And you think that you're going to feel okay. See, I've gone through that in life where I've given up on something, right? Something that I swore that I wanted maybe a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, or even 5 years ago, something I truly wanted, and I was pushing for it, guys, and I gave up on it. I gave up on it, and I was close to hitting it. I was close to the end, and I gave up. And the pain that you feel when you give up on something that you were so close to reminds me of being 3 feet from gold, right? The story of 3 feet from gold about the coal miner who ended up drilling for oil, and a gold miner ended up drilling for gold, and had gold, thought he was gonna be a millionaire, and then lost his streak, right? Lost his streak, and so he tried digging here, there, everywhere, couldn't find it, so he sold his equipment. Sold his equipment to a junk man and went on back home, right, with the little bit of money he made. And you want to know something? Know what happened after that, guys? That junk man went out there and he hired somebody, a professional, to survey the land and everything else. And he, right where the surveyor told him where it was, he hit the streak. And he became the millionaire, right? So now when I think about giving up, I start thinking of that, man. How a junk man got the right advice from the right person and created an empire for himself by not giving up, right? And so I just want to tell you guys, you got to take the chance and go one more day. You got to give it another shot. Get back up, man. Get back up, get back in the ring. And here's the deal. Throughout my life, guys, I have been faced with, right, more than my fair share of moments where I thought my effort to carry on was not worth the pain I was feeling while powering through, right? I'm trying to power through, but the pain that I was feeling throughout this journey, it just felt like it was too much. It just felt like I was sacrificing so much. And so I had that feeling. I had that feeling that I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up, you know? And I'm not just talking about, oh wow, this is a hard job, so I want to quit. I'm not talking about that, right? I'm going a lot deeper than that, guys. I'm going deeper than just talking about something that's hard and you want to quit, right? I'm talking about a goal that is going to force you, right? Force you to change the person that you currently are, right? Think about that. A goal that is forcing you to change the person you are, and the person that you currently define yourself as, right? Because we define ourselves as, I am an alpha, I am a beta, I am a mathematician, I am this, So now you in a goal where you realize that who you currently are, you have to change, and now you're forced to become someone new, and now you literally have to kill off the individual who you currently are. And I'm going to tell you guys, that is painful. It is a painful moment, right? So that is the type of goal that I'm talking about that you're doing, right? So you're forced to currently define yourself of who you are. And this also may include, guys, now hear me out, it's just not you. When you change yourself, when you become somebody new, it also includes your circle of influence, your friends, the people you're around, right? The people who you used to consult with each and every day. You're not consulting with them anymore. You're not talking with them anymore. You're not hanging out with them anymore because there's subtle nuances of whatever they are. It's not what you want to become. It's not what you want to have. So now you have to move on to different circles, right? And so that is painful as well. So think about that, right? You're turning into somebody new, totally, completely recreating yourself, and you recreating yourself, and you're alone. That's painful. That's the type of change I'm talking about, and that is the type of pain that I do not want you to give up on, right? But I was there. I was there. Have you ever felt that kind of pain, guys? That pain of complete change, that pain of rebirth, I like to call it. Yes, rebirth, right? You're recreating yourself, you're rebirthing, right? It is that pain that comes when you realize your path was wrong, right? Because this is me. I realized that my path was wrong and I have to change, right? After assessing my life, where I was at, which I do every single year, make sure I assess my life, and not during my New Year's resolution. I usually do it during my birthday, which is coming up pretty soon. I assess my entire life, and I figure out whether my path over the last year was a good path or a bad path. And if it's a bad path, I change. I make the change, and I start reaching out to people who will help me to make that change. So I think that is totally and completely important for you to do as well. Make sure you implement that in your life. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal, right? The one thing you don't get back from poor life choices is time. So understand that. And it is why I wrote my book, Top 25 Mistakes en Route to the Good Life, by the way. And the reason why I wrote that book is to help people to get back time. You can't get back time in retrospect, right? You can't go back to yesterday. Nobody's yet invented the time machine. But guys, I'm gonna tell you what. If you cannot make some of the mistakes that people who lost time before you made, then I suggest that you take that advice and not make those mistakes, right? Some of these mistakes are guaranteed the wrong route. Guaranteed the wrong route. And you should not take them under no circumstances, right? Under no circumstances. It will not pan out for you well. It won't get you the good life. So understand, you can't get back poor life choices. So in life, you make sure that the path you're walking is a proven path, number one, right? And that you don't backtrack, pause, quit until you reach your goal, right? So you don't backtrack on what you're doing if it's a proven path. Don't start second guessing yourself or second guessing the person who is mentoring you, who's giving you good sound advice. Don't start second guessing them. Just put your head down and forge through. Don't slow down and pause, because pause slows down your momentum, right? And third, don't quit. Don't quit. So many people quit when it gets so close to the end. And I'm telling you guys, don't quit, right? Don't do it to yourself, right? So now, if you do this continuously with your goals, as I did, you will eventually realize the same pattern that I realized each time I hit a major milestone in my life, right? And I'm going to tell you that pattern so you guys can understand it. Write it down, right? The most difficult moments in our journey to become more than who we currently are comes right before you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Right? Now, I didn't say right before you reach your goal. Now, I didn't say that, right? A lot of people will say right before you reach your goal. But I'm telling you right before you see the light at the end of the tunnel. See, because most of the time we want to quit when it's dark. We want to quit when it's dark and we don't know which direction we're going to go in, and we don't know how things are going to turn out. And because we're not sure how things are going to turn out, we have a tendency to want to give up when it gets hard. And I'm telling you guys, don't give up, don't quit when it gets hard. And I'm trying to be the life example of that, not quitting when it gets hard. Because I'm going to tell you guys, I have struggles and pains and things that I'm going through, things that I'm trying to create. I have financial struggles, I have business struggles, I have family struggles, life struggles, man. Things that I'm trying to get right in my life. And I promised myself that I wasn't going to quit. So because I have integrity in myself and I believe in myself, I'm not going to quit no matter how hard it gets, right? You know, I'll put my head down and I'll cry when I have to, but when it's all over, I'm going to wipe my tears, brush my knees off, get back up and keep pushing, guys. And that is what I need you guys to do. And this is what you need to do in life each and every day. You got to understand that sometimes your knees are going to get dirty. Right? Sometimes your knees are going to get dirty, and sometimes your eyes are going to be filled with tears of pain, of loss, of struggle, okay, of obstacles that knock you back, things that get you confused, that you cannot figure out on your own, that you must You must seek the knowledge of people who know better. I mean, that helps you with a lot of things that cause a lot of pain. A lot of people go through a lot of pain because they're not seeking the knowledge of people who know better, guys. And I'm asking you to be different. Be different. Start seeking the knowledge of people who know better so that your path is just that much smoother. I didn't say it was going to be easy. It's just going to be that much smoother, okay? But remember this as well, right? When you see the light at the end of the tunnel, don't let off the gas, right? I tell people all the time, it's just like when you are running a 40-yard dash, no different from when you're running a marathon. When you're ahead, stay ahead, right? When you're pushing and you got momentum in your favor, push it till you can't push it anymore. Go through the finish line, as my coach used to say. Push it through the finish line. Don't stop at the tape. Go beyond the tape. Find a place well beyond the tape and push it through that and go for it. That is how you create the light that you want. That is how you push it, right? You see the light at the end of the tunnel, and listen, here's the deal. Far too many people, guys, far too many people, and I'll say this, they let off the gas at the end, right? Right before the end, as a matter of fact. And an example of that is if you're pushing a boulder up the hill, right? And you're almost to the top, the peak, right? Why would you start slowing down as you reach the top? No, you want to push the boulder so hard up the peak that it starts rolling down the other side, right? Right over the peak, right over to the other side. That is the momentum that you want to carry with you when you're trying to achieve your goals. The momentum of pushing a boulder full speed up the hill once you get it going, right? You got the right steps, you got the right hand placement, and you're pushing and you got that thing going. I want you guys to push it so that momentum will help you to skyrocket over that peak and possibly even see another peak that you did not even know was there, guys. Right? You may pass milestones of things that people who taught you that this was the top of the top. You may have so much momentum from what you learned from them that you create another top, right? So understand that and keep pushing. Don't back off, right? And another reason is because when you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel and you start to back off, right? A lot of times there are unexpected obstacles that may come along right before you hit the finish line and knock you right off the track, guys. Knock you right off the track, and you have given it your all up until this point and you backed off. And if you would have kept that momentum, you might have go ahead and knocked over that obstacle, but because you backed off, it knocked you off track, and it may have stopped you from even ever achieving your goal, guys. So understand that. Push through the finish line. That's all I have to say on that, man. Never back off at the end. Now, I want you to understand, stand this, right? Your push is not going to come from this podcast, right? You're watching this podcast, you see it, and this podcast is for informational purposes only, obviously, guys. Right? I say these podcasts to give you guys as much information as possible, and it's your life. You make your choices, right? So I give you this podcast, you listen to this information. You don't pay for this information. You're just tuning in, checking me out, right? Ears on my mouth, right? Ears on my mouth. Listen to the words that I say. And if it vibes with you, it vibes with you. And if it doesn't, you keep moving on to the next and the next and the next, right? But you're not going to get inspired, right? I mean, you're not going to push through your goals from listening to this podcast, right? As I told you before, I'm only here to make you aware of the light inside of you, right? You have a light inside of you, and hopefully through this podcast, I give you enough inspiration or motivation or sense of self to want to seek that light inside of you so that you could become more and do more and give more value. Because really that is the theme of everything that I do in my life. theme of everything I do in my life is to give value. And I want to become more so I can give more. Right? And if you become truly more, then giving is just who you are. Right? And that's where you get your most joy from. That's where I get my most joy from. Some people get their most joy from taking, but I found that when you end up taking, you end up becoming a needy person, right? Someone who needs to get from somebody else, and that's not the type of life I want to live. So I'm going to continue to give value, guys. But anyway, Tony Robbins said something. So I want you to say this. I want you to understand this. I want you to use my words, number one, as leverage, the things that I'm talking about to you to help you to have a better life. Use them as leverage, right? But Tony Robbins said something, and I want to just give him credit for what he said. And he says that, he says it best. He says, the greatest leverage you can create for yourself is the pain that comes from inside, right? It is the pain that comes from inside of us that we can use to help us create the life that we want, to help us become the people that we want, to help us to get the things that we want, to give our families the life that we feel they deserve, right? You know, it's nothing wrong with wanting to live the extravagant life. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have incredible things financially and travel to exotic places and live a first-class lifestyle. It's nothing wrong with any of that, guys. There's nothing wrong with any of that. And I believe that you can create all of that within yourself, right? So it is the pain of change that we have in ourselves that creates the greatest leverage for us to go out there and achieve the life that we want. Now, this is by far the ultimate pain, right? Ultimate pain, the pain within ourselves. But also one of the strongest forces in our personality because it drives us to maintain our identities, right? Who do we think we are? Remember how I said before in the podcast, I'm an alpha person, I'm a beta person, I'm a mathematician, I'm an athlete, I'm a whatever, right? And so we begin to identify ourselves, and these are our identities, right? And we want to maintain these at all costs, right? So, and I don't know, I'll find out later on where we actually learned this from. As far as our identities are concerned, but to us, these identities are important, right? And in order to maintain them, right, we have to live a certain way, or have a certain standard about ourselves, right? So if you want a better life, you have to raise your standards of yourself, right? And you also have to begin to identify yourself with the person that you want to become. So you would then have to start to say to yourself that you are this person, and you will fight to become that type of person. You will fight to be identify yourself with that person, and then you will begin to do the work. And that is where the leverage comes into play, because it is your inner struggle to become that person that you now identify with that will keep you going and keep you doing all of the hard things that in any other circumstances you may want to quit, you may want to give up. So understand that identity is key. Now, I use this for myself. I use this all the time, by the way. I use this on myself all the time when I want to implement change in my life. When I need to change something in my life, right, I find who, right, because it's not always how you do something. So I find who is doing something that I would like to do, or creating something that I would like to create, or the person who I would like to become, and I begin to identify myself with that person. And if I can't get them to mentor me, I start reading their biographies, watching their YouTube videos, and trying to find everything about them so that I can absorb that type of identity. Now, I don't try to become them, but I try to become that type of person. And once I identify with that type of person, now the change is on. The struggle is on. The fight is on for me to maintain everything that it takes for me to be that person in my character. That is what I do, and that is how I work on changing things in my life, right? I convince myself that the pain of not changing is greater than the pain of change, right? So if you guys understand what I mean, is if you remain the same, there's a much greater pain that you are going to encounter as opposed to if you make the change, right? Because it's going to be pain in change, pain through the struggles, pain through the strife, pain through the steps you have to go, the things you have to learn, the lifestyle you have to implement, the people who you may have to eliminate, right? And it's a pain in that. But the pain of not changing and staying where you are today is much greater than the struggle that you have to go through. So understand that, guys. And I know I started this off with telling you guys about not quitting and not giving up and hanging on in there to tomorrow. And I tell you guys, when it comes to change and it comes to struggle, I have two questions that I always ask myself, and I write them down in my journal every day when I'm thinking about changing, right? And or when I think about quitting. So when I think about quitting, I guess that's me giving up on change. So the first question I ask myself is this: what will it cost me if I do not change? What will it cost me? And I write these things down in my journal because it is important to get these thoughts out of your head and get them on paper. So I write them down in my journal and I figure out, a list of things of what it would cost me if I don't change, right? And I make sure that whatever I write down, it is so extremely painful that it makes me say, I'll give it one more day. I'll give it one more shot. Okay? I'll take another step today. I'll get up one more time and I'll wipe off my knees and I'll go for it. Okay? So that is like one of my master keys to change. The second question I ask myself is this, right? And this is if I'm already going on a goal and the momentum is in my favor, right? I always say this: what kind of momentum can I create if I change this in my life, right? If I go ahead through with the change I'm trying to make, what kind of momentum would this mean for me, my family, my children, my life, right? What kind of momentum? And so couple that with the pain of not changing, and guys, I'm sure that this can get you to take another step another day, right? To sleep on what you're dealing with right now and wake up tomorrow refreshed and happy. Wake up tomorrow with a smile. I talked to my wife today. I was telling her about waking up every day excited and happy, right? Waking up every day excited and happy until it becomes a habit that you cannot break, right? And then something happens and you're waking up happy and everybody's like, why are you so happy? And you're like, oh. And you see everybody that's not happy and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. But I would like you guys to be the beacon, to be the light, to be the joy in people's lives. And in order to do that, guys, you're going to have to change your current thought process of wanting to quit. You got to stop wanting to quit, right? And you just got to say, hey, listen, I feel it, I hear it, but I'm not doing it. Okay? So that's it. That's it for today, man. That is my word of wisdom to you guys, right? I feel it, I hear it, but I'm not doing it. And tell that to those words that are in your head all the time that's trying to tell you to quit, trying to tell you to give up, trying to tell you that it's not worth it, guys. Don't listen to them, right? Don't listen to them. I turn them into a clown voice, right? I turn them into a clown voice and I tell them, hey, listen, stop the nonsense. We are doing this, right? So continue on. Keep pushing, guys. You guys have a great day. Make sure you guys hop on over to lieutenantsalblue.com. Pick up my book, Top 25 Mistakes. You will enjoy it. It is full of some of the mistakes that I've made, and I'm going full transparency on this book for some of the nonsense that I am totally and completely embarrassed about, guys. So hop on it over there and check me out at lieutenantsalblue.com. And also, guys, make sure you hop on over to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, and all the other social medias, because I'm always posting on those social media platforms with my workouts and all the other stuff that I do, as well as information about my book, my business, and all the specials that I'm running for you guys. So hop on over there and check me out. And also shoot me a DM, man. Shoot me a DM at Top 25 Mistakes. That's my Facebook group. Or at any of the social media platforms at Lieutenant Sal Blue. And I will get back to you in the DM, right? So just let me know what you wanted me to talk about tomorrow on tomorrow's podcast, right? And maybe I'll even run like a little special or something, guys. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great day. And this is Lieutenant Sal Blue signing off, man. Good night, guys.